Hey guys, let's continue with our lecture series on Oracle. So a lot of times, I don't think I've quite explained how the database actually opens, right? So there are three files that you're going to need to understand and know their purposes, right? Ultimately, we want our databases to be open. When I mean open and read write. So that means that all the users, the developers, all the people that are working in the company can access the company's data. The only person that can close a database would be you, the Oracle database administrator, right? Okay. Now, in order for you to get your database open, there are three phases it has to go through, right? Three phases. It has to first, from the closed position, right? It has to first, in fact, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So when I exit out of here, I do SQL plus SSDBA. And if I do select open mode from the dollar database, this shows you that the database for the root container is open, right? So if I want to shut down my database, I do shut down immediate. So there are two ways you can shut down your database. You can do shutdown immediate, and then you can also do shutdown abort, right? Now, when you do shutdown abort, it shuts down everything nice and cleanly, right? And I explain more about that in the course. But just know that it shuts down everything cleanly. But when you do shut down abort, it means we're not waiting for anything like kill it right now. Like it doesn't shut it down cleanly at all, right? And in order for it to shut down and come back up cleanly, there's just a simple command that you have to do when you start up your database. Real simple. Okay, so now that we know that our database is closed because we've shut down the instance, what I want you guys to pay attention is this. I want you to see database closed, database dismounted, and instance is shut down. Those are three separate commands, right? Okay. Pay attention to these three, right? Database closed, database dismounted, and database shut down. Cool. In order for your database to open, the files that it needs to be able to successfully read are what? The data files. The data files and the archive redo log files or the redo log files. Right? It's got to be able to successfully read those files. Okay? If it cannot successfully read all of those files, not most of them, all of them, your database will not open. You got to fix that. All right. So if you have 10 different data files, if you can open up 9, it can open up 1, guess what? You're going to have to fix that. You got a problem. You feel me? All right. This ain't about that bullshit, right? No, don't play them games, dog. It's gonna say, hey, dog, nah, I can't open up one of the data files. You gotta figure that shit out, right? And if you ever on a random day try to open up your database and you see one of those messages, best believe, let's say you're the first person to come to the office, best believe, as soon as 9 o'clock hits, dog, you gonna be getting phone calls. In fact, you probably be getting phone calls all night long. The reason being because that data file is represents like a subset of data that maybe jobs depend on, like overnight jobs that need to run throughout the night, right? And if those jobs ain't complete because of that data file, shit, you gonna be getting phone calls, dog, and they gonna be on your ass until that shit is fixed. And even after it's fixed, guess what? You gonna have to give a report. All right, what happened? Blah blah blah. You don't want them kind of problems, dog. Believe me, you don't want them kind of problems. Trust me, dog. Right? Because that's when you really get your. That's when they really. I We were paying this mofo like when things were in peacetime. Now that it's crunch time and he can't figure it out, shit, that's when they're gonna start having a conversation about choice. All right, look here, man. You might need to get somebody a little bit more superior to him. Yeah, you don't want that though, right? This is why those backups are essential. This is why last week I went over how to restore your database, right? And I gave you guys this restore database, remember that? And then recover database, remember that? Okay, that's how you do that. Okay. So it's really a quick fix. And you don't have to restore the entire database and recover the entire database, right? You can restore a particular data files, a particular data file and recover just that particular data file. You can do that as well, right? All that's in a course. So, in order for your database to close, right, that means it has closed the data files, access to the data files, and the redo those files, right? In order for your database to dismount, right, it means it needs to close a particular file called the control file. Control file. You understand me? Control file. The control file is what mounts the database. It's not what starts the database. It's not what opens the database. It's what mounts it. Now, the control file, what that does is if it can't successfully read your control file, it doesn't know where the files are. It doesn't know where the data files are. So one thing leads to another, right? So it needs to successfully read the control file so it knows where all the data files are in order for it to successfully open and read write mode. Make sense? Okay. Now, in order for you to start your database, you got to see this Oracle instance is shut down. And what that basically means is this, right? Your database starts. I didn't say open it. It starts, meaning the instance. What's an instance is the memory and is a combination of the memory and the background processes, just like your computer. Your computer has memory and it also has background processes like that you'll never know, or they just working. They just workers, right? They're just background processes and memory. Memory is what makes everything fast, right? And instead of storing all your data on the hard drive, your disk, it stores things in memory. So that's why it's essential for you to have a lot of memory when it comes to your Oracle service, right? So speed, it makes things fast, right? It makes you be able to retrieve past queries really, really fast, right? So you need your memory, right? And what controls that file is your SP file. It's called the server parameter file, the SP file. Now, the SP file typically will look like SP, then the name of your database, right? .ora, ORA, right? It's the SP file, it's the server. So now when I do, if I, for instance, lost my SP file, right? I'm screwed. There's nothing I can do. If I can't start my database, I can't even mount my database. If I can mount my database, I certainly can't open my database, right? So you can see it's layered. It's layered, right? Okay. So if you guys notice, every time I back up the database, also what also happens is the control file and the SP file are automatically backed up. Not sure if we have that here. I don't know if you can still see it, but anyway, I've shown you guys this multiple times in my prior videos, right? Okay. So you should always have a backup of your control file and your SP file. Okay, but let's just say you didn't have a backup of your SP file. So that means you can't do nothing. Like you have access to nothing. Okay. So what you want to do is this, right? You want to do startup no mounts. So this is a scenario. We don't have access to our SP file. Okay, we just don't for whatever reason. So what the database is going to do now is it's going to start it up right in no mount mode, right? So now what we're going to do is let's say we don't have an SP file. We're going to do create P file from SP file. You see that? You should always have your P file just in case your SP file. So you should always back up your SP file, right? But you should always have your what? You should always have your P file. So let's say you lost your SP file. No need to panic. You can simply do the reverse. You just do a create SP file from SP file from P file. So we call it enter. I already have my SP file, but so I'm not going to press enter. But it would just do the same thing. It would just say file created. Make sense? Okay. So this is how you get away with losing your SP file and your P file. It's a really simple command, but it's a very important command. You should always have a backup P file from your SP file, right? When everything is nice and pretty, everything's going smooth, just create a P file. Create your P file, right? Because if anything were to happen to your SP file, you can always start up your database with your P file. So what you would do is just do start up P file, then in fact you don't even need to do that, right? If you have your okay, so watch this. If you have your P file, right, and you lost your SP file, you don't even have to do that. Do all that command I was getting ready to do. You do point the location, everything. Just do start up. Because here's how it works. In order for your database to just start, right, it's going to be looking for your SP file first. It's going to look for that first. Can't find the SP file. The second place it's going to look for is going second file is going to look for the P file. If it finds a P file, okay, no problem. It'll start your database to the P file, no problem. Once your database is now started, then you can create your what? You can create your SP file from the P file. So you're good to go. Right? But if you can't find a P file, it's going to stop. It's going to give you an error and say, hey, look, hey, dog, I can't find a P file. What you want to do? This is where you would then restore your P file from the last backup. Really simple, right? Real simple. You just restore your SP file or your P file from a backup. And I show you how to do all this in the course, right? Anyway, guys, so this video is for you guys that want to make it between 150 and 250K within the next 4 months of serious training. All right, we show you guys how to do that, right? The link is in the description. College University. All you have to do is click the link. You should make your payment. We'll ship you out your laptop, and day one you're ready to go. All right, it will add you to the group. There are other students who are learning as well as you, and then just give yourself by summertime, and then you can start applying for these high-paying jobs, right? A lot of you guys are losing your families. A lot of you guys are losing your marriages. Simply why? Because you're not making a lot of money. It is what it is. Women want to make six figures, stop arguing with them, right? So if you guys are interested, click the link below. And if you want to talk about it, there's a Calendly link as well that you and I can talk to for 30 minutes and see if we could fit. All right. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys, and let me know what you think. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.